Okay, today is December 29th, 2018, and right now at 9:45 p.m. we have a temperature of 42 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 41%. The dew point is 20 degrees, and the barometer is down slightly at 30.02 inches. This morning we had 30.05 as this area of installed high pressure continued to build in. And now we see that things are changing. We have a flow pattern that's a moisture flow pattern moving into central and southern California. And today, beginning at about noontime, we began to see the jets, the specially equipped jets, upspraying the aerosol chemtrails into the skies over the Southern California area. That continues right now. Up into the 10 o'clock hour, the spraying continues up in the skies. So we have no rain for the next several days. One of the weather apps, weather.com, has a forecast for rain next Sunday, a week from tomorrow. Now, something interesting, last couple of days, actually yesterday, this little system began to spin up. This is just a 1003 millibar, I believe it is, Gale force system. We're going to take a look at this first on the SSEC Watervapor map right here. This is a 24-hour loop. This entire flow pattern, there was a blockade built in here, just straight as an arrow right through here. And we can see that what happened is that a transmitter began to create a bow in this northeast bound moisture field right here, beginning about yesterday morning. And we see what happens when these people, these weather controllers, place a bow, an area of high pressure. They just bulldoze a high pressure zone into this northeast bound jet stream flow right here. And what does it do? It creates a little counterclockwise rotating weather system. So that's what we're seeing right here. This is the very latest. And this system has spooled up just in the last 12 hours. But we can see the full history of what happened here. This just began as a simple bow in the, like I said, in the jet stream. And they just kept applying, basically the transmitter, the center of the power was pushed right into this northeast bound flow pattern, and that caused this low pressure system to form. So we've got heat applied adjacent to a flow pattern that's moving in a northeast pattern, and we see that low pressure begin to spin up. And going back to the Northeast Pacific Watervapor loop, we can see what's happening. This entire moisture field right here is advancing ever so slightly to the east, which is approaching the California coast. If we put the grid on, we can see that a little bit better. We can see that water vapor advancing to the east. But we've got this installed blockade of high pressure. These weather controllers are preventing our needed rainfall. In the last video, I wanted to mention the totals. Once again, we have, with that 4/100ths of an inch that we had on the 24th and the 25th, that brought the season total to 5.88 inches. That's all we've had. And 3.56 of that came on the 5th and the 6th of December from that Pacific gale. We got a little over 3.5 inches. That was great, but the ground once again is parched, and we only got 4/100ths of an inch from that big system that moved through here just the other day on the 24th, the evening of the 24th. So here is another opportunity for rain. Let's look at the IR map. We can see that system spooling up. It's being worked on by a satellite transmitter. We can see the right angle imprint right up there towards the corner. So we've got some tropical moisture flow that's moving right up towards this vortex, but they've got it blockaded We can see that right here. So the vortex is right here, and this moisture would normally flow right into that low pressure system and condense. We can see the manipulation occurring over here on the west side of this developing low pressure. We see that we've got another big hurricane force storm right up here. We'll take a look at that on the surface analysis map. But the frontal system associated, this is all jet stream right here. This is all being blocked by a satellite transmitter generated blockade right here. So we're seeing, well, that map just went south. Take a look here at the infrared map. Actually, we can take a look right here. This is better. This is the western U.S. water vapor loop, and we can see that blockade building in right here, and it is just stopping everything. So we've got this jet stream flow, which cannot get anywhere near that vortex, nor can this tropical flow pattern, which is flowing up towards that low pressure. Higher pressure always flows to lower pressure. But we see continually in these maps that that isn't so. Why is it? Well, we can see the blockade built right in. That is preventing this water vapor from feeding into that low. So this is how our weather is being controlled. And of course, this giant high pressure blockade is preventing anything from getting in and delivering rain. We have terrorists controlling our weather. The politicians are absolutely useless. They have zero power to stop this, apparently, so far. We're betting on Trump. We hope that he, by organizing the Space Force, will get to the bottom of some of what's going on here and who's controlling this. My own belief, and a few other people I've talked with, is that these weather satellites that are being launched have all the capabilities to do this built in. It's basically like the ground-based Doppler, those NEXRAD Doppler radars, which have dual function. They work as severe weather detection radars, but they also have a secondary function, and that is to be able to produce high output power pulses of microwave, which evaporate the precipitation and snow in a given region. These WSR-88Ds are all over the place around the country, and you can find the map of their locations on the internet fairly easily. Okay, so getting back to the big map, we can see there's a giant hurricane force storm right out here. Let's go ahead and look at the surface analysis map. We can see right here is that little system that just spooled up in the last 24 hours. That's listed as a Gale force system, 1007 millibar. We see high pressure adjacent to this system and that jet stream flow, which is attempting to get into that vortex. Same thing with the tropical flow moving up. This whole area here is surrounded by this high 1022 millibar, which is completely blockaded this little low pressure system. So this is going to be steered. We can see that there's an arrow pointing to the northeast, and of course we've got this blockade of high pressure. This has been installed for several days. Yesterday, the 28th, we had very strong winds, which blew several things over in the foothills. Very strong winds. Now, getting back to the map here, we had a low pressure system, which is looks to be right about here. This is an upper level low. It's now completely been squashed. We can see the center of this is right about over, looks like the Mexican border with Arizona and New Mexico. So we've got this mid and upper level low. This, meanwhile, is a surface to upper level closed low pressure system. It was this morning on the three pressure maps. The surface, the 500 and the 300 millibar, all indicated a closed low pressure system. So this should be moving in, but it's not. It's blockaded. We can see the high pressure here. We've got the chemtrails because we've got some residual moisture moving into into the central and southern California area. If you look at the Doppler map, we can load that up right now. We'll come back to that, but we can see all that moisture moving down through Nevada and down into California. And none of this is bringing any rain because the skies have been sprayed over. Okay, so we can see the map here. The Doppler map shows zero rain for the entire southwest, except for right down here. There looks to be some snow showers right here near the Mexico Arizona border. But look here, nothing in Nevada. We would expect to see something in Nevada based on the flow pattern right here. Look at all that moisture moving down through Nevada. So we know that the planes are up spraying in this area, and as we know that they're spraying down here because we saw them. So next Sunday, the weather.com app is showing rain. Meanwhile, we've got this thing will be moving in a couple of days. You can see high pressure building in right here. The descending air is just bulldozing everything away. We can see on the key here, the dry scale is clear down here in the purple. That's the driest. And then we have this area right here, deep blue. That's where we are right here. So we've had basically winds out of the northeast as that low pressure attempted to move in and deliver some rain. That was all prevented. So the weather controllers can use high pressure, very strong high pressure installations to stop and block precipitation and evaporate the moisture on the jet stream, or they can just use the chemtrail spraying the aerosols to do the job. Typically, we'll see the aerosols in a situation like this. If there's a giant closed low, a mid and upper level low, the high pressure is always a better tool because it gets the job done very quickly and while evaporating the moisture. But it looks to me that there's only so many transmitters to go around, so they have to mix it up a little bit. They try to mix things up to fool the public, to keep people off guard. You know, if you're not looking for this, you just figure, well, there's a lot of clouds in the sky. Well, they're not clouds. They're aerosols. They're chemical aerosols, which are sprayed to cap the atmosphere. So once again, let's take another look at this. This was a straight edge yesterday morning, actually the evening before, actually a day and a half ago. This was completely straight. We saw this bow develop. Transmitter just kept pushing into this moisture field right here, and what do we see? The low pressure begins to develop, and that's where we are here right now. So we'll keep an eye on this thing and see what happens next. Also, I happened to stumble upon an interview about a month old on Jeff Rentz's channel. He interviewed Dane Wigington from Geoengineering Watch. And you should listen to that because Wigington tips his hand. He's a global warming alarmist, and he still doesn't understand what's going on. He's peddling the solar radiation management baloney. Jeff Rentz asked him towards the end of the interview. He said, you know, what do you think about the jets spraying the chemtrails as the moisture fields are about to move in? Well, Wigington didn't answer the question. He tap danced around and he began talking about solar radiation management. So he tap danced his way through that one. And so again, we have to ask, how does he arrive at that? How can he prove that the solar radiation management is being done, and why are they doing it? We've proven here so many times that the timing of the aerosols is everything. So have a listen to that interview and let us know what you think. Okay, that's it.